chances are, like most people, you didn't do much air travel in 2020 because of the COVID. Well, if things get back to normal, and when things get back to normal, please God, we'll be resuming our typical flying habits, most likely. Well, the airlines are already lined up. So I want to give you some stats here. This is from a source that deals with airlines, among other things, the vacationer.com. It's a clearinghouse of information. Do I need an airport COVID-19 test? And you may say, what is that? Well, now airports everywhere are geared up to give you a COVID-19 test in the airport before you're permitted to get on the airplane. So before Thanksgiving, they say it was fairly easy to get a COVID-19 test. Due to the recent spike in cases, it's getting much harder to take a test and receive timely results. While you may be able to schedule a COVID-19 test before your next trip, one of the airports listed above, and it's a long list, may be your best bet. Many of the airports offer rapid tests, which are ideal for those traveling who need quick results. So to slow the spread of COVID-19, many states in the United States currently have required a negative test proof for COVID-19 test. They're suggesting that you do this before you embark on your trip. But let's say you don't have time. It's a quick business trip or something comes up. You need to go to a funeral or something like that. That may not be feasible. So now they're implementing the tests at the airport. Now, picture yourself not in a boat on a river, but picture yourself at the airport with your bags packed and maybe you and your husband and your kids or you and your wife and your kids, and you're getting ready to go to vacation land, and you take the test and one of you comes up positive rather. What do you do? Cyrus, what do you do? If you and Melanie and your kids are at the airport ready to board the plane and go to vacation land, someplace sunny and warm, and they say, no problem, we're going to board in a few minutes, half an hour or so, and we just have to give you the test. And you all take the test, and you show up negative. Or you positive. I keep saying negative. You show up positive, or somebody in your family is. What do you do?
Go home.
I mean, you're not going to send part of the family, are you?
No. Well, I might.
If you're the part that gets to go. Sorry, kids. Mom and Dad are going on vacation.
Sorry, we're going to Disneyland.
Yeah.
You're going with Grandma.
So you'll have to have a plan B for the kids. Well, this is happening now.
It is
happening. Let me give you the list. Let me give you the list here. So here are the airports currently with COVID-19 testing. Now, it's a long list. I can't give you every single one, but I'll give you a representative sampling here. So Alaska, 3 different airports: Anchorage, Ketchikan, Juneau. Arizona, Phoenix Sky Harbor. Los Angeles International, LAX. Oakland International in California. San Diego, San Francisco in California. Bradley in Connecticut. Tampa. I could probably skip the states here. Let's see. I think it's Honolulu. Boston, Minneapolis, Newark, New Jersey, JFK, LaGuardia, Portland, Oregon, Philadelphia, Dallas-Fort Worth, a.k.a. DFW, Houston, George Bush, Intercontinental, Burlington, Vermont, and the list goes on. There are some airports that currently haven't ramped up to that level, and they're only requiring COVID-19 testing on the spot for specific destinations. So if you're going, for example, from, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, DFW, there are certain destinations where you have to do this. Other ones, you don't. And there's a fee associated with it. In the case of DFW, it's $250 per person, by the way. They have some airlines which are rolling out testing outside the airport. So you may not be at the airport yet, but you can, in association with the airlines, you can get your test done. And you can see by looking at this article, and Cyrus kindly posts this on the show Twitter feed, you can see that this is about to mushroom into something much bigger. And I predict that this will quickly, well, I shouldn't say quickly. I think that eventually, and if I had to guess, probably sooner rather than later, the idea of a rapid test may be seen as too cumbersome and provisional. And it will give way to this digital passport, whatever form it takes, maybe an app on your phone, maybe something else. And that will verify that you've had the vaccine. I predict that it's more likely to go in that direction because it's less cumbersome. And you don't have to spend $150 or $250, as the case may be, at the airport on top of your luggage fee on top of the cost of the plane ticket, and you and your wife and your kids are going to vacation land. I mean, who wants to pay an extra $250 per person to be tested at the airport? So all other things being equal, it seems to me that this is provisional at best and probably not going to last too long once the vaccine is up and running, and the means to tell who's been vaccinated and who hasn't been vaccinated, it goes online. Now, one further prediction, and then we'll go to the phones. I'd love to talk to you about any topic, and I've got a few more tidbits on this issue. We'll return to this topic a little bit later. But think about this. How much easier would it be, rather than have an app on your phone and maybe some other form of an identification that you have been vaccinated? That can become cumbersome as well. It's better than having to stand in line and take a test while you're at the airport. But eventually, some egghead in, a think tank somewhere is going to say, well, wouldn't it just be easier if we just set up like a scanner? And that way, we don't need all this rigmarole. And just people, they walk through the scanner, and it's a silent scanner, and the guy taking the tickets behind the counter, just like, they scan your boarding pass. And if there's something amiss, there's a beep and everything stops and they look at your boarding pass. What's wrong with this? Doesn't happen very often, but it happens from time to time. Otherwise, it just scans and you go right into the airplane. Wouldn't it be easier to just set up a scanner where people can walk past it and nobody gives a second thought to the fact that you're being scanned? And the mark on your body where you got the immunization, it tells the tale and everything is fine and there's no fuss, no muss, and you get on your plane and no $250 fee, and oh gosh, I forgot my phone, therefore I don't have my app. I mean, all those things eventually I think are going to give way to a super simple scanning process. That's my prediction. And you may be saying, oh, well, you're just saying that because of what it says in the book of Revelation about the mark of the beast. No, I'm not saying it because of that. I'm saying it because I think that the ease of doing it that way makes the most sense. And if there is a connection at some point down the road, however far from now it may be, then sure, I can see a correlation there. But I'm not proposing, or I'm not proposing it at all, but I'm not predicting this because I want to see a connection with the book of Revelation and the mark, etc. I'm not saying it for that reason, but it could easily turn in that direction once everybody becomes accustomed to it. Once everybody is just like, yeah, I'm cool with that. I remember when people were up in arms, a fringe group of people. I knew one of them, by the way. He was up in arms about the zip code plus, zip code plus 4. He was convinced that that was the mark of the beast, and that if you accepted the zip code, and he wouldn't mail any mail using the zip code. And he tried to it was weird. It's like he was trying to get the government to delist him from his zip code. I couldn't fully understand it. But in his brain, he thought this is the mark of the beast. It wasn't zip codes. It wasn't the social security number. It wasn't some of the precursors that people were worried that this might be that. So anyway, is this that? I don't know. But it's happening. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's happening. It's happening now. And your life in this regard will be different in small ways and maybe some big ways in the months to come.
For more of The Patrick Madrid Show, visit relevantradio.com/Patrick.